Okay, onward in the Rambam to evaluating people who ask for tzedakah. Okay, so this is Matnos Aniyim, Zayin, Vav. And we'll do what we usually do. We'll get the overview, raise the questions, and then probably answer them tomorrow. Ani she'ein makir noso. If there's an ani who you don't recognize, okay, meaning you don't know him personally, the Amran, he says, Ra'ev ani ha'chiluni. He says, I am hungry, feed me. In bodkin acharav shema ramayu. You do not check after him to see whether he is a charlatan, right? Whether he's like a deceiver. Ella mafarnasin noso miyad. But you give him his parnasa immediately. Okay, we'll do the makbili in a second. Haya aram, if he's naked. V'amar kasuni, and he says, cover me, clothe me. Bodkin acharav shema ramayu. Then you check after him. You say, just 1 second, sir. Yeah. And if you know him, then you cover him according to his kavod immediately. And you don't check after him. So does that mean that you don't do it if he's?
What does that mean? Like, if you're not near him, meaning you know he's not alive, then what does it mean in bodkin acharav? And if it means you just know that, then what does it mean?
Okay, so let's look at the makbili and see what he says, just to make sure we get the facts here. She'im makir nosa. What does it mean that you don't know him? You don't know if he's fit to receive tzedakah or not. Okay. In bokin acharav, we don't check after him. In chokrim achar Machshavah Lab. We don't check after his financial status. Okay. And then rather mafarnasin nosnim lo kol machsoro b'mazon. We give him all of his food needs. Okay. It doesn't entitle him to things outside of food. Right, but that's the case where he's hungry, right? And then aram, if he's naked, lo rak im haya aram legamre, not just if he's completely naked, ela gam im haya lavush begadim beluim, if he's wearing worn out garments. That's apparently from the Hilchos Shuvas Avraham ben Rambam, Sim Daled, which we should actually check out if we can. O shechalak migufa chelik migufa chasuf biglash begad of kruim, or part of his body is exposed because his garments are torn. With food, we don't investigate his financial situation. Because if he doesn't eat, that's going to cause him a lot more pain than than the pain that he would get if he doesn't have appropriate clothing. That's also interesting because I would have assumed. Yeah.
Either because he's going to die or because he's going to steal.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, yeah.
Because
to get their food.
To get food.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to steal to be clothed. You definitely would have to steal if you're like starving.
Right, and people definitely do steal like when they're starving. Yeah, like in Aladdin.
When they're not clothed as well, but like I feel like it's more prevalent.
Right.
More prevalent with like sustaining.
Right. Yeah. You guys were going to ask something? Yeah.
It's just the word possible. Is it a problem if he steals? Because if he needs to steal to live, then it's pikuach nefesh. So if he's not doing anything also.
I mean,
someone's still losing something because you didn't give the guy food. Though.
Yeah, right. Yeah, the fact that another guy can get into pikuach nefesh doesn't mean that I just like let him get into that state.
Okay.
Yeah.
So this is gonna happen. If the guy really, first of all, I would have thought that the arm is a more immediate meaning. The arm is
because what? Because he's in a state of arm. Right. Wait, we have a whole.
That's the problem because there's pulling down now. I'm hungry.
Isn't that a star?
Right. It's not an immediate star that if you wait, let's say half an hour, he's gonna
I mean, how do you define star? He has a need and he's in pain from the need.
Why is he not?
Yeah.
Even if I random star, why would it matter if he was Ramai?
Why would it matter if he was a Ramai?
Let's say he wasn't a Ramai.
Right.
Doesn't matter.
Well, the Ramai.
You can already get a stage of like sorrow, a real time.
Right. Well, so hold on, to make sure we're on the same page here. The Ramai is your concern that he actually does have food, right? And he's just trying to get stuff from you because he wants free food, you know.
But he's already in a state of sorrow, right? And he just lies to you that he can't go get food. And you still have to give the food anyway, when he's not hungry.
Okay, so that's a good question, right? I mean, we've seen that tzedakah is de machzor asher yachzor lo, but the way he formulated it was if an ani comes to you and asks you, right? So now it seems like he's getting into the territory of defining who we count as an ani for these purposes. right? So we have to.
Not necessarily meat from the guy out eating
You're saying midin what? Midin just the afterlife kamocha? Like,
yeah.
I mean, that's not a chiyuv, but that's not going to bring you to this whole area where like you're giving, where you're mechuyev to do it. I mean, that's definitely the afterlife kamocha, but to say you're chayav to do it, I mean, you know, yeshiva guys are hungry all the time. I'm dishing out cookies, except when I have insomnia. Yeah, Yosef.
Would you like? I'm now we don't have time to read. Where did you see about the thing about him stealing is the reason why you check out?
That was what I thought. That was
Yeah,
what I
we
thought
didn't read
about
it. Yeah.
He didn't actually say it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Later.
Like I wanted to also be that one's a lot cheaper than the other.
Food.
And that like back then,
Mhm.
it would be much more
Right.
expensive. So
Yeah, I mean, these are reasons.
The Rambam says because you're gonna give him more pain because of the right?
Yeah, let's
was that
actually
just,
let's look at these sources. Let's look at these sources in the Rambam. We just got to do this last one. Makir no so. So what was that? Where was that last one? Oh yeah. Im hayu makir no so. If you recognize the guy who's naked, then we cover him according to his kavod immediately. And we don't check after him to see whether he was lying about that, right? So makir no so kagon shuhu mocher lacha. For example, if he is a merchant, but you don't know his exact financial circumstances. I guess merchants were always like buying, losing money, gaining and losing money, precarious financial situation. So it's like plausible that he could be in a situation where he's in the red. You know,
So he's a guy who like plays the market.
Yeah, right. Okay, so let's go through these sources one by one. Okay. Or actually, let's reread the halakha now that we've read the makbili. Okay, and then let's go through these sources inside the Rambam. So, ani she'ein makir nosa. So, poor guy who you don't recognize, which means you don't know if he's roy to get tzedakah or not. And he says, "I am hungry, feed me." Ein bokin acharav. We don't investigate after him into his finances. Shema Ramayahu to see whether he is a Decepticon, whether he is a deceiver. You give him his needs in food immediately, right? All right. So that part, do we have a problem with that? Or is that part okay?
Well, I have a problem with it being on later.
Okay, right. So far, this itself does not pose any problems, right? And you see from here also, by the way, this is something that like it should go without saying, but like the problem of people faking poverty is like an intrinsic part of the whole system of tzedakah. Once you have an institution of tzedakah, you're always going to have the problem of people faking, you know. Yes, yeah. And he also is not telling us how we check after him here, right? I mean, in our community here and in many communities, you have the VOD system and like the whatever authentication thing. I also don't know what they do, you know.
Yeah, I was gonna say that kind of like made me question that whole system though. Like someone comes to your house and like I know like someone comes and you're okay, check the paper point first. And, like,
yeah.
Kind of sounds like it might be. I guess if they were
No, the stavka cuminous.
No, I'm saying, what if they were asking for food, let's say, and
Yeah.
they had like their paper thing? Would you have to, if you were to say, "Can I check your paper?" That would go against it, right?
No. That is the. Oh, you mean? Oh, if they're saying.
No,
Oh, if they say I'm starving.
No, I won't.
Right. If they say if they ask for food, correct. Then you don't check after him, right?
You probably did.
It's a good question. I mean, like it seemed to be. I don't know. I don't know. See, these categories are very like difficult. Choshev b'ksherim, like, does that imply? Is this an isser? Does it just mean you're not required to check? You know, I don't know the structure. Yeah, this is like Aruch Shulchan territory. Yeah. Say again. If you know, sorry, if it turns out to be a reminder, you give him tzedakah. Right. Good question. Right. Right. I can't remember if he addresses that question specifically. I don't know. That's a good question. That we have to look into. Okay. All right. So now the problematic case. Haya arum, if he's naked, which means even not clothed properly, right? Why what?
I don't know what I think. I think it's more shocking to say that totally
Yeah, that is definitely shocking. Yeah.
Well, no, so I was thinking about that because I was shocked by the halacha. But if he was totally naked, then you would have a chiyuv. I would assume maybe you'd have a chiyuv based on covered up real. No?
Well, so that would be, it would be chiyuv to cover him, but not necessarily to give him clothing,
That's what
right?
I'm saying. Though. I mean that.
I mean, I don't know what the like, you know, like you say you'd be mechuyev to remove the problem of kavod brios.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah. So also,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Here it seems like it would be more mashma than that you wouldn't have to cover him because he says machassid in the last line. Like, does that mean like you give him clothing or you just put clothing on him?
I
Or
get
you
the
cover
impression,
him.
yeah, I get the impression that this is like clothe him,
Uh-huh.
but I you know, I know. I mean, when he says malbish, that would be like you dress him, you
I
know.
guess it would be kavoda though.
Right.
So like that's.
That is true. Yeah, it's a good question. Why you're saying
That
that.
one
Yeah.
I'm thinking about halachos.
Yeah, okay. So let's look at this truth of Aram and Ramam, or let's at least start it. Siman Chavdal. Now, I'm going to trust in all Torah, as I want to do. And hopefully, what they do, they have that section that they added, which we haven't really used that much. Let's see if this works. Zra'im. Did you guys know? Because I didn't have a Jewish childhood. I don't know what songs everyone knows. Do you know that there's a Seder HaMishnayos song
I didn't know
that goes to the order of the Mishnayos?
Oh, all the mishnayos?
Yeah, like in order, all the Masechtos.
All the stuff. Oh, probably.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me.
Someone posted it,
Never did this.
and I was like, that would be interesting if someone did a song for the Rambam like that. But get to work on it. All right. Let's see. Oh, it doesn't have it. They in earlier on they have the chuvas of the Rambam. I'm gonna have to go to Turo. Go back to Turo. Sfaria doesn't have shalos and chuvas.
Yes, I do.
No.
All of them? Okay, you can check and see if they have shalos and chuvas. I'm gonna definitely rely on Bar-Ilan over Sfaria though, because Bar-Ilan is gonna have.
I know that's the most.
Did I click on the wrong thing? No, Rishonim. Oh, it's Rav Avraham ben Ramam. Yeah.
So I don't know that I didn't want Sarah, like that is not an Aniyim. There's no like actual outside thing.
Right.
Oh, that's a whole sorry, right?
Right.
But in the guy is like an arm, there's an outside thing in arm is what it has an Aniyim.
Sorry, that was it again. If
If it has an arm,
yeah.
there's an outside thing aside from
Right.
Which is why I'm shocked that.
So right. Here's the thing. I mean, there is a thing of covered brios that you can't just run around naked, right? But whose chiyuv is it to cover him? Like, right? Like, I don't know. I don't know. First of all, I don't know how covered brios is strong. Covered brios is not a mitzvah, right? It's a principle that has halachic manifestations. I don't know how those are manifest. Like I know, like I think the sugya of covered brios comes up with the case of the guy who's wearing kilayim b'shuk.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Yeah.
They have a lot of shots too.
Yeah. We may need to take a detour into covered brio stuff. Okay, but let's just start locally here. Very short tshuva. She'ela ilamdenu rabbeinu es perush vayafshet gam hu begadav v'yisnabe gam hu lifnei Shmuel v'yipol aron kol hayom kol alayla. I'm not familiar with that pasuk. Anyone know what the context of that is? I mean, it sounds like it.
That's why I guess.
The pasuk is vayafshet gam hu es begadav v'yinabe. Let's see where this is. Vayafshet. Is there a bug crawling on me? No. So a long hair that does not belong to me. Strange. Vayafshet.
All right.
That's what I was thinking too. Vayafshet.
Were these the people who were chasing after David? Were like Shaul's men chasing after David?
Remember, you're asking someone who did not get Shmuel education. Vayafshet is. Did I do that right? Vayafshet gamhu es begadav, but I don't think will that make a difference? Gam, let's just say gam. Gam, not agam. That would mean that he took off the lake. Vayafshet.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so it's in the end of 1924 of Shmuel, all of 1924. Vayafshet gamhu begadav v'yisnabe. So he took off his garments v'yisnabe and he prophesied. Gamhu, he also prophesied Lifnei Shmuel, in front of Shmuel, Vayipol Arom Kol Hayom Hahuv Cholal, and he fell naked all day and all night. I don't know if there's like one long fall. Alkein Yomru Hagam Shaul Banavim. And therefore they said Shaul was also in the Navim. So this is when Shaul was
when Shaul realized that David was probably at some point going to seize the throne, so he started hunting David to prevent David from seizing the throne.
Wait,
Yeah, so
Shaul was a Navi?
yeah, so Shaul actually a Navi, or this is like a
Pasuk said
it did say that, but it says that they said that Shaul was a Navi, right? Let's just look at let's look at Metzudas David, who's going to give us the shot. Yeah. Oh, that is also true. Yeah. Let's see. So Pashat Big Day Malchus. So Metzudas David says he took off his royal garments. He's Damos the Hanavim b'Mabushem ubayis Gailan, in order to resemble the Nevi'im in their garments and to not be haughty like them over them. V'yipol nafa al panav arza, he fell on his face earthward. Kumosh nemar b'Daniel ba'ani hayisi nirdam al panai upanai arza. Okay, Aram is Ratalamar min big day malchus. So he's taking it not literally that he was naked of his royal garments. Alkein Yomru, Kibupam Harishon Shinibe Be'es Himalcho. The first time he prophesied when he was king, Lonis Chazik Adain Hamashal Habrios. The I think mashal here is like the prophetic mashal, was not in his mouth, it was not strong in him in the mouth of people. I don't know what that means. Lomar Hagam Shal B'Nevi. Oh, in others, people didn't say that Shaul was among the Nevi'im. Ukshenibe Shenis, when he had the second prophecy, as he's chazik hamashal lomar al kol haba lamala shlahurgal ba hagam Shaul b'Nevi'im. Okay, I don't know the context of this, but I don't want to take up too much more time. Let's just read the answer though. So what does it mean? Rambam says tshuva pshitas begadav hu pshitas bigdei hamachus l'man yetzi mimare hagdula v'lovsha ulavusha. So it was taking off his royal garments, like David said, in order that Laman Yetze Mimare Hagadola Ulavusha Vikanes Betsuras Hanius Bashifus. Basically wanted to like lower his stature by taking off his royal garments. Vizehu sod. What does that mean in this context? Doesn't sound like a sod to me. Unless it's a sod like for Nevuah. Oh, he references other stuff. Okay, there's sodos here. Okay, fine. We're not going to go into that. All right, so what we get from here is that naked doesn't mean naked. Even in Tanakh, right? Naked means when you're not clothed with what you should be clothed with, right? Then there's that.
So that makes sense with the last halakha in the halakha line.
Yeah.
Lefi Kavoda, yeah.
Lefi Kavoda, right. Lefi Kavoda is like it turns out to be a perush on Aram, right? Yeah. It doesn't mean, so in other words, there's not going to be a covered Brios violation here. Right. And if there was a covered Brios violation, maybe you would have to like cover him for that reason, but not for tzedakah. Okay. All right. So at least we wrapped it up internally. In terms of
yeah.
Right.
If he was naked, then put on his clothing or like
right. Yeah. Okay. Let's tomorrow plan to go into the Pisha Mishnayos on these things. I mean, maybe even not. Maybe might not even need to do that. Let's just okay, we'll see what we want to do. We'll see if we want to just take a detour into the cover. I don't think the covered Brios is that much in the Rambam. I was gonna say I don't think it's gonna be that much. Yeah, well, let's look at it. Just we might as well. There's Rambam Bekius. It's Bekius. Yeah, right. Yeah. Okay.
Bundle it up.
Chas v'shalom.